Welcome everybody to the SportsCast. My name is Ben, and I am joined by my colleague, Granville Megatron Sexton.
All right.
In honor of your newfound allegiances in pro football.
Right.
So, and welcome to the somewhat revamped SportsCast.
Yeah.
Our set is still the same, but we've got a new logo over here. We got a new Instagram down here and a new email over there. All right, well, it's the same email, but it's corrected.
It's correct now.
So,
big improvements, man. Big improvements.
Hey, every week just a little bit better. And here's where it starts going downhill, because we are here to talk about sports. So on today's schedule, we're talking about USFL Week 3 action. We'll do a little bit of a recap of the NFL draft, and whenever the mood strikes us, or wherever we go.
We go on.
We'll go on some
tangents,
eventually.
some rabbit holes.
If you're new here, welcome. But anyway, let's get started. We'll start with a quick recap of USFL Week 3 action. Actually, I have to look it up. I didn't watch all the games this week, but
we're behind.
Yeah, but the fourth game of the week is currently going on. Philadelphia and I was gonna say Pittsburgh again, but they played last week. Philadelphia, the Stars are currently playing at the moment on Peacock of all places, versus New Jersey. It's currently 7-0 Philadelphia. Anyway, the games that did happen this week. Houston Gamblers versus Tampa Bay Bandits. Tampa Bay pulls out a game-winning clutch field goal in that game. Wins 27-26.
That's got to be really great for a kicker.
It was especially, it's going to help them hopefully get to camp coming fall.
Yeah.
You go out there under the pressure.
And your clutch.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's really what you're looking for as for a kicker in the NFL.
How far was the field goal?
It was like 30 yards-ish, but it was like 40-ish yards.
Yeah.
But it was still pretty good.
Right.
It came down to the wire. Clayton Thorson, we talked about. I talked about last week. He had his ups and downs.
Yeah.
He actually went out and played very well. He actually outplayed Jordan Tiamo. Yeah, he outplayed Jordan Tiamo like pretty easily. Tiamo went 21 of 36, 58 completion percentage, 255 yards, a touchdown and interception. Thorson, and his QB rating was 77.9. And then Thorson, on the other hand, went 15 of 24 for 240 passing yards with 2 touchdowns and a pick. He ended up with a 106 QBR. So,
wow.
Clayton Thorson, he's over the last couple of weeks, he started out really badly. Yeah. Last week he had his ups and downs, and this week he played very good.
Right.
So hopefully I'm
not very shocked. I think he'll continue to play good.
I think Thorson get him some confidence. He proved to be a competent quarterback when he was at Northwestern. He was a good Big Ten quarterback, which is to say pretty mediocre.
He's an okay quarterback.
But overall, his over this week he's played really well, and they were unfortunate that they ended up losing that game, because he definitely did outplay Tiamu. Tiamu has actually been surprisingly lackluster.
Yeah.
This year, we thought going into this season that general consensus, the general consensus was that Jordan Tiamu, with his experience in the XFL and being like number 2 in the XFL, we thought that he was going to take the league by storm, that he was going to be the man. And he hasn't really stepped up to that point yet in the USFL. He's definitely, he's underplayed to his ability. Him and Jamar Smith this week also had an off game, and both of them had the same problem with their mechanics, where it really heavily leads to overthrowing people. They get unsettled, they get a little bit quick in their mechanics, and they overthrow people. And once they get into that form, it's hard for them to break out of it. If they can stay out of that form, they play great.
Right.
But and that's the reason why they're currently in the USFL and not the NFL, in my opinion.
Right. That's their breaking point. That's their fatal flaw.
Exactly. They're not consistent enough in their mechanics because they are both athletic quarterbacks. They would be really good athletic quarterbacks. I wouldn't compare them real highly to Lamar Jackson, but it's kind of that mold,
right?
Where they can run out of the pocket good, throw on the move. But yeah, it's just that they have a hard time keeping up those mechanics and being consistent enough in order to get an NFL spot. Speaking of Jamar Smith, we'll go to his game. It was a disappointment for me. The Birmingham Stallions moved to 3-0 on the year. Ended up beating New Orleans 22-13, and I loved that they were hyping up this game. It was like, oh, these are the two most potent offenses in the USFL, and then they scored a combined 35 points.
Right.
So
kind of a lackluster game.
It was very lackluster. It was a boring game. I watched most of it. It was very boring. Jamar Smith went 15 for 38, just under 40% completion percentage, for just under 200 yards passing, 2 touchdowns and a pick. So at times he could play good, but there was long stretches where he couldn't find a completion to save his life.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But
and he's definitely a run first type of guy. He's not going to get himself out of
the
trouble.
the only running offense they had in this game was Jamar Smith's legs.
Right.
The New Orleans Breakers defense played very good in this game, minus a couple hiccups every now and again, which they gave up the 23 points.
Right.
But they limited the Stallions' run game very well, and they were able to contain Jamar Smith pretty well himself.
And you can't expect to score 13 points, and you can't expect to win with 13 points.
Well, and the problem with that is we talked about last week. Kyle Sloter was injured. He was playing through several different injuries last week. Well, I don't know what happened, but his groin injury seemed to get much worse this week. So Kyle Sloter was a statue in the pocket. Sloter is also an athletic guy. He's not he's not Lamar Jackson or anything, but he can move. He's got a good
scrambler.
He's a good pocket presence.
Yeah.
But this week he could not move to save his life, and that wouldn't be such a bad thing if
he was.
Well, if the Breakers or any of these Spring League teams had a competent offensive line.
Yeah.
Which they don't.
No one does.
Yeah, nobody has a competent offensive line.
The talent is definitely more sided towards defensive linemen.
Oh, yeah. It's a lot easier to be a defensive lineman than it is to be an offensive lineman and have to cover all the schemes when you're versus the job of just running the quarterback. Yeah. But Sloter was a statue back there. And Sloter played well, considering he couldn't move at all. Sloter, 26 of 47, 240 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. And that pick was a game-losing pick because the pocket collapsed on him.
Right.
And he...
Desperation.
Yeah, he kind of threw it over the middle, nowhere near Breakers' offensive receiver, and it got returned. It didn't return for an interception, but it was a pretty hefty return.
Death sentence.
It was a death sentence of the game. Not to knock Sloter. Sloter still played well, admirably. Played better than Baker Mayfield did with his injury, so I'll say that much. And I don't know what is the problem with my teams and having to play injured quarterbacks. But
don't say that. Don't say that.
But no, Michigan's smart enough that if the quarterback gets injured, they actually put in the backup.
Yeah.
But
so we typically have a good backup.
Yeah, but they don't.
Probably more of a gap between Sloter and the next up than there would be at Michigan.
Baker Mayfield and
Josh McCown.
Yeah, or McCown or whoever it is. So, yeah, so they're both at the point where even with the injuries, they'd rather start those quarterbacks. In Sloter's case, it almost worked out. If that offensive line gives him more time, just a hair bit more time on a lot of those drives, it would have been.
It's the difference.
Sloter had not been sacked in the first 2 games of the year. And he was sacked
It's really shocking.
And he got sacked 4 or 5 times this game. And he should have known that it was going to be bad when Sloter's first 2 passes from scrimmage, the first 2 plays the Breakers have from scrimmage, are batted down at the line. The guy, the defensive end, gets around the tackle and bats it down. It's the same guy, too, batted it down twice. So, but overall, I would say these 2 teams are the best 2 teams in the USFL at the moment. I know it's hard. There is some bias there as a Breakers fan, but I've watched most of these teams play several games now, and I would say that I haven't watched a lot of Philly. Philly, I've missed or a couple of their games.
The Michigan Panthers.
Sorry about that. But
speaking of which, did the Panthers have a game this week?
They should have had a game this week. Oh wait, they actually won.
Let's go, Jeff Fisher.
Well,
Jeff Fisher.
They were playing the worst team in the league in the Pittsburgh
Tank Bowl.
Yeah, you missed the Tank Bowl.
The Tank Bowl.
So it was Philadelphia or Michigan Panthers. Oh, I mean, let's just wrap up here real quick with the New Orleans game, and then we'll get to your Michigan Panthers. But
is there much more to say about the New Orleans
I'm just gonna
game?
say, wait for Week 8. Week 8 is the rematch because they are in the same division, so they played 2 games apiece. Week 8 will be the rematch between the Stallions and the Breakers.
Okay.
If you have a healthy Kyle Sloter, that's going to be a great game, and it's probably going to be for winning the division.
Right.
Okay. Michigan Panthers versus the woeful... Well, last week they didn't play too bad, but this week they got shut out by the Michigan Panthers. The Philadelphia Maulers. Let's see. Josh... neither. Well, I mean, they didn't do a lot with the yardage. So, Josh Love for Pittsburgh went 10 of 19 for 83 yards and no interceptions or picks. Kyle Laletta came in. He went 9 for 12 for 42 yards, and no picks and interceptions.
Okay.
So, about 1,200 yards.
Now, tell me, this is the question of the day. Paxton Lynch or Shea?
Paxton Lynch. Nope, Shea Patterson. Well, neither of them played good. Okay. And looking at the worst quarterback, surprisingly enough, the worst quarterback room in the USFL, Shea Patterson went 8 of 17 for 49 yards, averaging 3 yards an attempt. No touchdowns or picks.
Okay, pretty pitiful.
And then Paxton Lynch came in.
Right. Went
3 for 8 for 23 yards, averaging 2 yards an attempt. But their running back, Corbin, who's his name?
Must have had a fantastic day.
20 attempts for 133 yards.
Holy cow. All right. Yep, that explains it. What was the score of the game?
24-0.
How many defensive touchdowns were there?
I don't think any.
How in the world did they get down the field to score 24 points?
The Panthers rushed the ball pretty well, it looks like.
How many different running backs were utilized?
There were 5 different carriers. Okay. Corbin led the team, 20 attempts for 133 yards, 6.6 yards an attempt for a touchdown. Brian Scott III, I think is his name. He had 13 attempts, 64 yards, and another touchdown.
Wow, okay.
So he averaged 4.2 yards an attempt. There was another guy, Scarlett, who had 5 attempts for 33 yards, averaged 6 yards an attempt. Paxton Lynch ran twice for 10.5 yards an attempt.
Right.
And Shea ran twice for 1.5 yards.
I said this last week or the week before, but if you can establish a run game in a league like this, you're gonna dominate.
And that was the attempt, or that's what the Maulers were attempting to do in week 1, and it's
not worked very well.
They really did not do anything, because their rushing attack, they had 11. One guy had 11 carries and one guy had 10 carries. Kyle London, I think his name is, ran 11 times for 68 yards at 6.2 yards an attempt. He had a long of 32 yards. And then Groshek, who was their starting running back usually last couple of weeks, he ran 10 times for 28 yards. So really there was no offense, period, on for the Maulers. 200. Well, there's no offense really on either side of the ball. Total yardages, it was really dead even with time of possession. About 30 minutes apiece. Like a minute more for Michigan.
Wow. To get shut out and also split the time.
Well, and they also had 2. They were in the red zone twice. The Panthers
What happened?
The Maulers. I don't know. I did not watch this game. There was one lost fumble.
That's probably one of them, and then
the other one probably just got
4th down conversion. Or
maybe late in the game.
Field goal.
Let's see. Let's look at the play-by-play. Okay, I don't want that much play-by-play.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth it.
Okay, here's how it goes. So Michigan went out, scored a touchdown on their first drive.
Right.
And then they got the 2-point conversion.
Okay.
So 8-0. Traded punts. And then the Panthers score another touchdown. So it's 6, and they go for 2.
Okay.
So it's 16-0.
Right.
Then 62 yards. Okay, so then they drive down the Maulers drive down the field, and they miss a 57-yard attempt.
57? Why would they attempt that?
It was 2 minutes before halftime.
What are you?
Or no, it was 2 minutes before the end of the first quarter. Excuse me.
What are you doing?
Because they had.
What are you doing? Who's their kicker?
There's a guy named Ramond. Ramond. Went for 57. It's because Kirby Wilson is not a smart coach.
There's a reason he's not in the league. If he could kick a 57-yard.
Yeah, because what happened was they got to the Michigan 32.
Okay.
Then there was a short pass by Josh Love, but then they got called for a chop block. They lost 15 yards. So then they're in a 2nd and 27. Then they go short pass incomplete, a rush for 8 yards.
That's awful.
To the 39.
That's terrible. That's funny.
Okay. Punt by the Panthers. Then the Maulers got a field goal blocked.
That's great.
Michigan turns it over on downs. A punt, a 3-and-out by Pittsburgh, and then it's the end of the half. Punt, missed field goal by the Maulers. And that one was...
This sounds like a tank.
That one was from 59 yards.
I give up. Why?
Then...
Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Then Michigan got their punt blocked. After that, it got.
What is this game? I wish I
recovered.
Watched this.
I'm glad I didn't watch this.
It would have been a really boring game to watch. It would have been very painful.
Michigan gets their punt blocked, and it gets recovered on the 49 of Pittsburgh. Then they turn it over on downs. 4 plays.
Mm-hmm.
Punt. They turn it over on downs again. Pittsburgh. Punt. Michigan scores a touchdown and goes for 2. Gets it 24-0. Punt.
Right.
And then the end of the game. They what? Oh my gosh! They punted with 2 minutes left to go. Down 3 scores.
That is literally you.
You gave up. Yeah.
You're like,
Pittsburgh punted with 3 minutes left to go, or with 2 minutes left to go. It was right at the 2-minute warning when they punted. They were down by 3 scores, and they punted.
That's funny. It's really sad.
Kirby Wilson will not be. I'd be surprised if Kirby
will not be an NFL coach,
and he probably won't be the Pittsburgh Maulers head coach at the end of this season.
Nope.
That
is hilarious. Jeff Fisher outcoached someone. Think about that. for a moment.
Jeff Fisher. He didn't
Fisher.
Fisher didn't outcoach him. He just let Kirby Wilson just do whatever.
Himself,
just let him shoot himself in the foot a couple of times.
That's
and
funny.
Then it was an awful game all around.
Yeah.
And then it's also a very boring game in New Jersey, where Jersey is losing 7-0 to Philadelphia.
Right.
But that game is in the middle of the third quarter. Or it's halfway through the second quarter, so it's got a little ways to go.
I was really optimistic for the USFL. If they continue to have games like this, I'm not sure.
No, see, here's what I'll say about the USFL. If you like close football games, the USFL is for you. Of their, I guess there are 11 games, not including the game that's currently being played right now. Of those 11 games, 8 of them have been less than 1 score. And that's less than 1 score in NFL rules. like 7 points or 8
Right.
points, not even including the 9-point play. Yeah, 8 of them have been 1-score games, and a lot of them have come down to drives to win.
Right.
Generally, more often than not,
fail.
they fail. But you still have literally the first game of the league was Jamar Smith leading a touchdown, a 2-minute drill to
win the game.
Yeah.
I will say though, even if it's a close game, it's a terrible game.
No, I mean there's been some good games.
You just read one of the most terrible
I know
games
that game was awful because the Pittsburgh Maulers. The Pittsburgh Maulers are the worst team in football. Probably the worst team in any of these spring leagues. And I was a fan of the Seattle Dragons in the XFL. The Maulers.
What is that? You have terrible taste.
Hey,
funny.
I was a fan of the Orlando Apollos in the AAF.
Yeah.
With Steve,
Steve Spurrier did not disappoint us.
No, he did really well. He was the best coach in that league at like 80.
Yeah.
Which is saying something. But yeah, it's because Jim Zorn was the quarterback, and I didn't realize how bad of a coach Jim Zorn was. You know who Jim Zorn was?
No.
Jim Zorn was the expansion quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks. He was their first quarterback. He was a left-handed guy.
Yeah, him.
He was pretty good. He was a good quarterback.
He was okay.
He was pretty.
He was not good. He was okay.
He was good enough for an expansion team.
Yeah.
He was really good for an expansion team, but he was a terrible coach. He coached the Redskins for a while, back when they were the Redskins, so I can say that. But he was awful as their head coach, and then I didn't realize that, and then like after 2 weeks of XFL football, I was like, wait a second, and then I looked him up. I was like, oh, this guy's terrible.
Yeah.
But
that's about all the news.
Yeah, that's USFL news at the moment. Yeah. So probably power rankings real quick would be Birmingham number 1, New Orleans number 2.
That's a shocker.
I mean, you have home field advantage the whole year.
Yeah.
It helps out. And a competent head coach. You have the son of Lou Holtz as your head coach. It's,
Good coaches go a long way in this league.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And then, surprisingly, Fedora. Larry Fedora is his name. Mike Fedora? Fedora for the New Orleans Breakers has done really well. So, New Orleans number 2, and then either Tampa Bay or like
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, or maybe Philadelphia. Philadelphia is able to get a convincing win.
Michigan Panthers.
2 and
We now know who 7 and 8 is, though.
Yeah, we know that.
Panthers are 7 and Maulers are 8.
Yeah, exactly, because they got to win. Because the Panthers did get a win, so.
We're not the worst. Let's go. Shea Patterson.
They still have to play at least one more game against each other, so.
That's okay. We'll win.
Hopefully. Either way.
Yeah, we won in convincing fashion.
You won in a.
We blocked kicks. We blocked punts. Well, we got a punt block.
They missed several kicks.
Yeah. If you go for 57 and 59 yarders, it's hard to win a game.
Either way. So.
Wasting possessions.
Next up. The NFL, or probably the reason that any of you are listening, NFL Draft was this week. Let's go through some of the first round picks here. Number 1, first off the board, was Trayvon Walker.
Good pick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm biased. Either way, it was a win-win for me. But Trayvon Walker is a good pick.
Mm-hmm.
Solid player all around. Mm-hmm. And truly, he probably is the most talented, or at least in the top 3 most talented players in this draft.
So, it's a hard well, I say that. You would think it is very hard to miss a first overall pick. It happens quite a bit. But in a talent-rich environment, it should be harder than it is easy to not blow you shouldn't blow the first overall pick, generally.
So articulate.
I know, I'm a man of words.
Many, many words.
Usually repeated over and over again. It's hard.
Runs in the family.
It's hard to blow a first overall pick. It happens. Ryan Leaf springs immediately to mind. Jamarcus Russell. Was Jamarcus Russell a first overall pick? It's with quarterbacks, it's a lot easier to blow a first overall pick
because they're a lot more hit or miss.
Yeah,
quarterbacks are very easy to tell if they're a bust or a good player after a year.
Oh yeah, and then because Baker was the first overall pick, and the jury's still out on whether that was a wasted pick or not.
That's true.
Because he did lead him to not the Super Bowl. He led him to the playoff.
He led him to the Super Bowl.
He led him to a playoff win, which is something better than any other Browns quarterback ever did.
That's true.
But you look at the guys who came after him, namely Russell Wilson and Josh Allen.
Russell Wilson?
Or not Russell Wilson. Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen.
Russell Wilson?
I know, he's really old, or he's really young. No, you look at Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen more specifically, because you can make an argument about Lamar, about whether he's a good quarterback or not. But Josh Allen, looking at him, and again, it depends on the situation. Baker could have been a Josh Allen if he had Sean McDermott as his coach versus Hugh Jackson and Freddie Kitchens for the first couple of years.
That's true.
But you never know. So anyway, next pick. Gravel going ahead. Second pick.
The Lions draft the one, the only, the Aiden Hutchinson from the University of Michigan. And ladies and gentlemen, guess what that means? Guess what that means? That means I am officially a Lions fan. I am submitting myself to at least a decade of torture and misery and just all-around sadness, sorrow, everything. Just any emotion you can put with the word sad, any synonym, will be what I will be feeling for the next decade. But for now, I will have my probably 100-odd some days of happiness.
Enjoy losing too. Yeah, enjoy losing or watching the Packers and the Bears and the Vikings beat you every year.
We watch people like Matthew Stafford and Calvin Johnson walk away, and
Barry Sanders.
Just great things, you know. We're not cursed. We're fine. I don't know what you're talking about.
But we're likely to assume that you think this is a good pick, right? Okay. Moving on. Number 3. Houston Texans select Derek Singletary. Or Stingley. Excuse me. Derek Stingley.
Okay. So this is a good pick. I'm a little mixed on this pick. I actually didn't know he went that high. I don't think Stingley was supposed to go that high in mock drafts. This is going to be a very hit or miss pick. This is a high risk, high reward. Stingley is an incredible athlete, but he has not lived up to his freshman year at LSU. He was a Heisman candidate coming off of his freshman year. He did not live up to that, and certainly LSU as a whole didn't contribute to that much with all the failing that they had following the departure of Joe Burrow, just to name one. But Stingley, we're gonna see how this goes.
Well, the best thing about taking this you're kind of thinking he's a little bit of a flyer, right? Kind of a high risk, high reward kind of thing.
Yeah.
Best thing about taking him for the Texans. One, Lovie Smith is now their head coach. Mm-hmm. So he's a good defensive mind as a head coach.
Lovie Smith is the Texans coach?
Yeah, I think so. That's what it says here.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because they fired what's-his-face. And they hired Lovie Smith.
Bill O'Brien.
No, the other guy. The other black guy who was the head coach that one year. Last year. What was his name?
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I paid no attention to the Texans last year. Frankly, I didn't know they had a rookie quarterback until about week 6.
David Coley.
Okay. Well, here's another thing, though.
Well, the reason... the other thing I was going to say, sorry to interrupt you, was that, and you might be what you're going with here, is that the AFC South does not have a lot of great quarterbacks in it. Not a quarterback deep division.
Yeah.
Because you have Ryan Tannehill, who's he's pretty good at the occasion.
Yeah, Trevor
Lawrence, who's still he's got to recover from Urban Meyer last year.
Yeah.
And you have
Colts quarterback.
Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan. Okay. No, Matt Ryan's a good quarterback.
But he's also 38 years old.
But he played very well last year,
though. When Matt Ryan is your best quarterback in the conference, in the division.
Don't you do Ryan Tannehill like that.
But
don't you say that about the AFC South.
No,
that's actually not where I was going, though.
All right, where are we going then?
There is a much better pick if you want to go for a cornerback. I understand if you want to go with a high risk, high reward of Derek Stingley, but even with his high reward, it's probably not better than Sauce Gardner.
Well, we'll talk about him right quick, because at number 4, the Jets select Sauce Gardner.
Right, and I think this is an amazing pick by the Jets. I think the Jets need a cornerback like that. Sauce Gardner is the best cornerback in college football, period. He was better than Stingley. I think he was better than Stingley his amazing freshman year. I don't think it's a choice to pick between Derek Stingley and Sauce Gardner. I think it's Gardner all day long. And I think we'll see that for sure coming off of this year.
And also the Jets, I'm just going to go ahead and look down the other Jets.
Jets had a very good first round.
Yeah, the Jets, Garrett Wilson from Ohio State
That's a great pick.
at 10.
Yeah.
So it gives Zach Smith some more targets to work with on the outside. And then the other defensive player that they got was...
Is it Zach Smith? I don't think it's Smith. Zach
Wilson.
Zach Wilson, yeah. I was going to say, going crazy.
Zach Wilson. Yeah. And then Jermaine Johnson, from Florida State.
Golly, you don't know anybody. That is also a very good pick.
I can't read. Jermaine Johnson.
I will say, Zach Wilson was running for his life last year. Every single down. They did. If I remember correctly, they did address some of the offensive line during free agency. Maybe.
I think they got a guard.
I hope it's enough.
Well, also, I think they got Thibodeau, too.
I don't think they got Thibodeau. I think someone else got Thibodeau.
It was the second round.
There is no way Thibodeau fell to the second round.
He did. I can fix my round. Let's see. I swear Thibodeau ended up getting the second round. Second round. Logan Hill.
If he did, then that's a fantastic pick by the Jets. Jets had a really good draft, which is really shocking.
Something we say every year, but never turn it hands out.
I don't think they had a great draft last year.
Oh, Desmond Ridder went to the third round.
Desmond Ridder was...
went to Atlanta.
Yeah. Second quarterback off the board, which is hilarious. Where did Kenny Pickett go?
To Pittsburgh.
He went to Pittsburgh?
In the second round, I think.
No, I don't think Pickett went in the...
Did he go in the first round?
Maybe Pickett was the first...
No, he didn't go in the first round. He was the 20th overall pick.
Oh, okay.
That's not a bad pickup for Pittsburgh.
How in the world? I'm so confused.
Right.
What?
I saw that from my Instagram. Those are off of my Instagram.
Oh, man, that's terrible. Oh, man.
Either way. Let's go back to it. So, number 9. Oh, never mind. I'm an idiot. Oh, who's the guy? It was the giant or the Georgia linebacker. What's his face? Who's the really good Georgia linebacker this year? The really fast guy.
I don't know. I can't remember.
He probably tracked down many of our guys. Dang,
I don't remember.
No, it wasn't Pickens.
Pickens is a wide receiver.
I know. Whatever.
I don't think there's a fantastic. Maybe you're thinking of someone else's linebacker.
I can't remember. It was a really fast guy. Maybe we'll come across him anyway. So, Thibodeau went 5th overall to the Giants.
Okay.
Good pick. Thibodeau. Huh?
It's an okay pick.
What do you mean okay pick? Thibodeau was like the best defensive lineman in the...
He had a terrible combine.
Well, just because somebody has a terrible combine doesn't mean that they're not going to be a good player.
He also played not great competition. And he was injured most of last year.
Whatever. Ikem Ekwonu? Ikem
That's a good pick.
for the Panthers at number 8. Give some protection for Darnold.
Yep.
If Darnold's the quarterback down there.
It's not going to be Darnold. It's going to be someone else. It's
Uh,
probably going to be Mayfield. I hope it's Mayfield.
I hope he gets a chance to start somewhere.
I don't like... You've seen the whole thing with Robbie Anderson, right?
The kicker?
No.
Oh, no, he's
Do
a
you know
receiver.
anything?
That's Robbie Gould. I'm thinking of. Robbie Anderson's a receiver, right, in Carolina?
Yeah. Robbie, and he used to be a Jets player. But Robbie Anderson is a good wide receiver. But he tweeted out he saw the rumors of Baker Mayfield going to no, it was an Instagram comment. He saw a post where it said, "Oh, rumors, Baker Mayfield might go to the Carolina Panthers."
And he said, "Oh,
in
gosh,
the
no."
comments, he just says, "No."
Sorry, Baker. I think the Seahawks did draft a quarterback during this draft.
I don't think they did.
Let me double check. I can look by teams.
Everyone thought that they would draft Malik Willis, and they did not. Malik Willis went somewhere else. If they did, it was a very late pick.
No, they didn't draft a quarterback.
Yeah.
So that means step right up, Baker Mayfield. You're going to be the next quarterback for the
Seahawks.
the Seattle Seahawks.
I don't think he'll go to the Seahawks.
Well, that's where Baker was thinking he was going to go. They had a interview with him.
Really?
And he thought that he was going to end up with the Seahawks. So
interesting.
I mean, it's either him or Drew Lock. So I'd rather have Baker Mayfield. Okay. Anyway, back to the first round. Evan Neal.
Yep.
To the Giants. So they addressed both their lines, offensive and defensive there.
Yep.
Drake London, USC to Atlanta Falcons as wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
They drafted. I just said they drafted somebody.
Who did you say? It was,
Drafted.
what team?
The Falcons.
They drafted.
Did they draft Malik Willis?
No, they did not.
They drafted a quarterback.
No, we weren't talking
Desmond
about...
Ritter. That's what I
Ritter,
said.
Yeah.
So, Ritter should get a shot there. Ritter will
Who
definitely
else is down there?
Who else? Yeah, who else is in Atlanta?
Because there's someone else down there, I think.
Oh, Marcus Mariota.
That's right. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, that will be very interesting. Anyway, next up, Charles Cross from Mississippi State. He's an offensive tackle to the Seahawks. He was their first overall pick. It's a little bit late for the Seahawks to be addressing their line, considering that they probably should have in the last couple of years kept their franchise quarterback happy, but
oh wow.
Pete Carroll. Garrett Wilson, like I said, to Jets.
Pick. Really great pick.
Chris Stapleton, other Ohio State wide receiver, goes right after it. Picked 11 to the Saints. Or Chris Olave, excuse me. Did I say Chris Stapleton?
Yes. Are you okay?
I think Chris Stapleton is a country music artist. I don't know why I said that.
I was like, I don't remember a Chris Stapleton from Ohio State.
Chris Olave.
Olave is a very good.
Olave was probably the better of the two, in our opinion, right?
It's so close. I
think Olave played a little bit better than Michigan Ohio State game, which is the only time I really watched it.
The three of them played very great. But of course, only two of them get picked.
Jameson Williams from Alabama to the Lions.
Right.
Who is your quarterback, Granville? Jared Goff.
But we have Aiden Hutchinson.
Hey, y'all had two almost top 10 picks. So.
Wait, so who'd we draft there? We got
Jameson Williams from Alabama.
Okay.
Let's see what ESPN says about it. The Lions will continue to build up their offensive core by trading up to get Jameson Williams. He is now paired with Amon-Ra St. Brown, T.J. Hopkinson, and D.J. Chark.
Chark, yeah.
To give Jared
Chark's
Goff
I didn't know Chark was on the Lions.
To give Jared Goff a dynamic set of weapons on the perimeter with a roster that is still in the early stages of a rebuild. The Lions are afforded patience with Williams as he recovers from a torn ACL.
Man, I need to buy some Lions merch now.
You need to actually figure out who's on your team.
Yeah. How do I go about doing that?
Look at the roster. Find a podcast, a Lions podcast. Listen to. Jordan Davis. Maybe it was Jordan Davis was who. No, Jordan Davis is not who I was thinking of. Quay Walker.
What are you looking at?
I'm trying to find the guy.
I don't think there's a linebacker from Georgia.
I swear there was a linebacker from Georgia.
It doesn't matter.
All right. Jordan Davis, defensive tackle from Georgia, went to the Eagles.
Right.
13. Kyle Hamilton, Notre Dame safety, to the Ravens. Kenyon Green, guard from Texas A&M, to the Chargers.
That's pretty good.
Helped them out.
It's a very stacked offensive line draft.
Mm-hmm. With the departure of A.J. Brown recently, the Titans actually trade up. Or they got it via a trade. I don't know if he traded up or not. They got Treylon Burks from Arkansas.
We got Treylon Burks. I guess you get a guy that's similar to A.J. Brown. Huh.
Yeah. Titans trade A.J. Brown to the Eagles in the shocker of the night. Oh, so they traded him on draft night, so they traded up to it. After the blockbuster deal, GM John Robinson drafts the clone of Brown and Burks. He steps into a situation where he's expected to be an he's going to be a day one starter, according to what they say.
They did just get a replica of A.J. Brown.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. Trevor Penning from Northern Iowa to the Saints. He's an offensive tackle.
That's one of the best offensive tackles in the whole draft. So that's a steal of a pick.
Mm-hmm. Talented left tackle Armstead leaving in free agency. Jameis Winston coming off of a torn ACL. Saints had to get a tackle early, and they did that. He's still developing, but has the tools to develop into a blindside pass blocker. He should also help open up some scenes for Alvin Kamara, who is coming off of the worst year of his career, and they expect him to be a day one starter. Kenny Pickett at 20 to his hometown Pittsburgh Steelers.
I think that's a good pick.
It should work out, I think.
That's a good pick.
He should start, probably right away. The ESPN is saying there he will probably be a day one starter.
It's going to be interesting to see. As Roethlisberger is officially gone.
Yeah, he's gone. So it's either Mason Rudolph or
Kenny Pickett.
Or trade for Baker Mayfield, but I don't. Baker.
It's going to be Pickett.
Baker wouldn't go to Pittsburgh.
No.
After his years with the Browns, I think he hates Pittsburgh.
Probably.
And just like I do, and I like the '70s Pittsburgh teams, but Pickett.
He's a day one starter.
Pickett should probably handily beat out Mason
Rudolph. Him.
He's got Mike Tomlin as his head coach. I don't imagine that Tomlin's gonna make it that bad for him.
Right.
If you have a competent head coach as a rookie quarterback, that should help out a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a lot better than having, like we mentioned earlier, Hugh Jackson and Freddie Kitchens and or Adam Gase and Mike Judge and all of them. Mm-hmm. Trent McDuffie, Washington quarterback to Kansas City. Quay Walker, inside linebacker to the Packers from Georgia.
Okay. That actually is a good pick as well.
Kyer Elam.
Give me the Quay Walker. Kyer Elam.
Okay.
Tyler Smith. Oh, I'm thinking of Tyler Linderbaum. Not who was the guy that got picked? Oh, I heard Iowa, and so I assumed Iowa. It was Linderbaum. Linderbaum is the guy I was thinking of. That is one of the best offensive linemen, and some people I've heard the argument that he is the most talented player in the whole draft.
Mm-hmm.
So to get someone that late in the first round is a pretty good pick.
Trent McDuffie, Tyler Smith, offensive tackle to the Cowboys.
Right.
Tyler Linderbaum, he's a center actually from Iowa, but should help there. Jermaine Johnson II from Florida State. Devin Lloyd, inside linebacker from Utah to the Panthers. Devontae Wyatt. Cole Strange. George Karlaftis. Karlaftis. And Dax Hill.
Daxton Hill.
Yep. Went to the Bengals at 31. Mm-hmm. And they claim that he will be a day one starter. I don't know about that.
I found the linebacker.
The Kobe Dean, that was who I was thinking of.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that is a steal and a half, I will say, because he supposedly is a first rounder.
The Kobe Dean, he was like the fastest fastest linebacker I've ever seen.
Wait,
they drafted
Malik Willis went to the tight end.
That's actually an interesting
That's
pick
funny.
There. Here, actually, let's look by.
Oh, that's funny.
Let's look by teams. Just see what the overall is instead of just going through round by round. So
we don't have time for that. You want to go through 32 teams?
No, I'm not. Just pick a couple teams that we care about.
Go to the Lions.
Okay, so the Lions, they got Aiden Hutchinson, second overall. Excuse me. Jamison Williams, we already talked about that. Josh
Pascal, that's a good pick.
Kirby Joseph, James Mitchell, Malcolm Rodriguez, James Houston, and Chase Lucas. So overall, they address a lot on the defense, it looks like. So you get your main pass rusher, or your main edge rusher of the future in Aiden Hutchinson. You get another edge rusher in Josh Paschal. How do you pronounce that? Pascal?
I believe so. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And you get a secondary pass rusher in Josh Pascal. You got a safety, you got 2 linebackers, and a cornerback. So hopefully they all can, or I don't know how many of them are going to make impacts, which is later picks, but.
Here's another steal. David Jabo, 45 overall. Second rounder. He was supposed to go in the first round. And David Jabo.
Well, because he ended up touring his ACL during the Michigan Pro Day.
He was still supposed, yeah, I guess.
So.
But he's supposed to, doctors did say that he is supposed to make a full recovery and that this is not supposed to affect his play at all. So, I don't know. I think he'll be okay.
Okay, so here oh gosh, we drafted a punter in the 6th round. Hey, that means we're confident. So here's the, oh, wait. No, it wasn't us, it was Buffalo. Buffalo drafted punter in the 6th round.
Oh, okay.
Not the Browns. You laughing at the Buffalo Bills?
Yes.
Okay, good. You better not be laughing at my Browns. We drafted a couple wide receivers. You know David Bell from Purdue?
Yes.
He was a 3rd round pick. Did you get a pick?
That was a 3rd round pick?
Yeah.
That's a good pick, yeah.
It was a compensatory selection, too. So we got Amari Cooper. We got Jarvis Landry. Oh, we released Jarvis Landry. So that means we just got Amari Cooper and David Bell.
David Bell would be a good wide receiver.
Hopefully so. Bell is an NFL-ready route runner who doesn't have a high ceiling, but can make immediate contributions.
Hey, sounds like Jarvis Landry.
We're a run-first team anyway. Besides, I've always thought you don't need great wide receivers if you got a great quarterback. If you got a quarterback who can put it on the hands every time, you don't need a great wide receiver.
Yeah, that's true.
So, as much as I don't like the man, Deshaun Watson. Well, he's been out of the league for a year.
Not played for 2 years.
But doggone it. That's why we need to keep Baker around. So when Deshaun
sucks.
Yeah, if he sucks, then we got
Mayfield steps in and wins the Super Bowl, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, we love you! Oh,
we love you again! No,
you were never bad.
No.
Odell was the problem.
Odell was definitely. Well, I do agree that Odell was definitely the problem, but
most people do not think that.
Well, I think they're wrong. He did not try when he was at the Browns. We got a corner as our first pick. We didn't. The Browns' first pick was in the 3rd round because of the Deshaun Watson trade, which
might be worth it.
Yeah, overall team quality, minus maybe the receiver position, is kind of light. It's kind of light for the Browns. Maybe a little bit white. But minus that, the Browns have generally, at least on offense, had a good offense. Defense is getting better. And, I mean, you trade for, hopefully, the franchise quarterback. At least for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Until he gets arrested for rape again. But,
I should not have said that.
You heard it here first, folks. I'm a Browns fan, and I'm not afraid to admit it. I know.
This is just a sportscast. This is not a...
I know. But we drafted another cornerback, so it's a guy who's going to be across from Denzel Ward. A couple linemen. We wouldn't really... Oh, we did get... Oh, my gosh. We drafted a... Oh, I was making fun of the Bills for drafting a punter in the 6th round.
Did you draft one in the 6th?
We drafted a kicker in the 4th round.
Oh my god.
That shows how confident they are in this team. That they're willing to spend a 4th round pick on a kicker. They got Cade York from LSU.
I don't even know who that is.
York, the top ranked kicker in the class, is LSU record holder for 50-yard field goals made in his career. He made 15 of 19 from 50 plus in his high school career. Cade York.
Yeah. That is hilarious. That is hilarious.
The 4th round. What are we doing?
That is hilarious.
I really did not think that we needed any more talent. I feel bad for Jerome Ford, Michael Woods II, Isaiah Thomas, not that Isaiah Thomas, the basketball player, and then Dawson Deaton, who were drafted after a kicker.
That's hilarious.
I hope. I mean, our kicking has kind of sucked. We had Cody Parkey as our kicker the last couple of years. We had Double Doink himself as our kicker.
When did you ever get... That's funny.
It was the last couple of years, actually. Yeah, we've had him.
Not a couple of years.
No, it was last
You had
the
Zach guy.
Our kicker situation has not been real good. So, I mean, Ray Guy was... What round was Ray Guy drafted in?
First round.
Was he a first round pick?
I think that...
Yeah. He was a first round pick. If Ray... I'm not saying that this guy's going to be Ray Guy by any means.
Should have drafted the San Diego State
punter. Oh, yeah, the San Diego State punter.
Where did he go?
Did he get drafted?
I don't know.
Mr. Punt God? San Diego. Matt.
6th round. He
drafted a kicker before the punt God. We should have drafted him.
That is hilarious.
Oh my gosh. He was drafted behind 2 other punters.
No way.
Because, surprisingly, the 4th... So what it says here, according to CBS Sports, there was a run on punters in the 4th round. That was around this...
What idiot.
They drafted... Why in the... Who drafted...
That's hilarious. This is the greatest punter we have seen in years, and you drafted...
Jordan Stout was a punter, and Jake Camarda?
Oh my gosh. Camarda?
Yeah, there was 2 other punters drafted before the punt god. And they were in the 4th round. They got selected 2 rounds before.
That's
awful. What kind of... If there's one thing that I know, is that it doesn't matter what size school that you play at if you're a kicker. It doesn't matter because based off the rules, you can't get touched.
The same way.
Yeah, you kick the same way. So if he's blasting 70, he made a Brady Hoke led team.
He won games for San Diego State.
Yeah, and he got drafted in the 6th round.
Just hilarious. That is comedy. That is absolute comedy.
Oh my gosh.
You can't write that. He is the best punter that we have seen in the NFL draft
since Ray Guy.
And he goes
in the 6th round. Like, the Browns should have drafted... Like, the Browns punter is decent. I can't remember his name, but... Even still, you should have drafted him. If you're going to draft a kicker in the 4th round, go all out. Get the punter, too. Get the best punter we've seen in forever.
That's hilarious.
That is awful. Hey, great for the Bills, though. That's a great pickup for Buffalo.
Fantastic. That's the punter we were making fun of them for? That's the guy we were laughing at the Bills for?
Wait, was that really?
That is... I quit.
Did I really? Was I really making? Yeah, that was the guy I was making fun of. I'm offended fun. Jesus, I'm sorry.
Forgive me.
I was like, haha, they were picking up a punter in the 6th round. They picked up the best punter possible. Welcome to the SportsCast, by the way. That is prime SportsCast territory. We don't know what we're talking about on this show.
No way. I think we should end on a note like that.
Yeah, I think that's about the time that we need to end.
Yeah.
So come back next week. We will show how stupid we are once again.
Add another tally.
Yeah, add one more tally to that incorrect predictions list.
Yeah.
But anyway, we got, like I've said before, we got emails and Instagram now. Follow us.
We have an Instagram.
Follow us on Instagram.
We have a logo.
SportsCast. We got a new logo. It looks really nice. There's a guy off of Fiverr. Let me give him credit here real quick. It's like a design firm. It was called Desk Design. So $15 on
And he gave us several options.
Yeah, he gave us several options. This is the one we like the best. So, yeah, it's a great logo. We got a Instagram, like we said. You got email over there. And that is correct now. Ask Gran and Ben at gmail.com. We got a new font. It's 2. It's fine. It looks better. It's legible, hopefully.
I'm gonna quickly look, see how many. We'll see our 0 viewers.
If you're listening, hit the follow button. I'm not sure where that is.
1 viewer.
Hit the follow button.
Probably Evie. So thank you, Evie.
Whoever you are.
Yeah.
Remember to hit that follow button. It should be down there somewhere, I guess. It depends on what device you're watching this on. Hit the follow button. We'll be back next week, 7:30. Thank you so much for watching.
6th round, man. We made fun of the Bills. That was hilarious.